Hey guys, welcome to our channel. In today's video, we're about to uncover some of the most shocking stories in Hollywood history. We're delving into the lives of the top 20 worst alcoholics to ever grace the silver screen. From A-list celebrities to up-and-coming stars, we'll explore how their battles with the bottle didn't just impact their careers, but left deep marks on their personal lives. Without further ado, let's dive headfirst into these compelling stories, where fame and addiction collide in the unforgiving world of Tinseltown. Peter O'Toole. It's indeed astonishing to think that someone with such striking, bright blue eyes as Peter O'Toole could have been one of Hollywood's most notorious alcoholics. He once candidly admitted to David Letterman that, during his era, drinking was simply something everyone did, whether they had plans for the day or not. O'Toole even claimed that alcohol had a positive impact on his performances on the silver screen. One memorable instance that comes to mind is the iconic scene in Lawrence of Arabia where O'Toole's character leads a camel raid. Surprisingly, both O'Toole and his co-star, Omar Sharif, were genuinely fearful of camels. To overcome their apprehensions, they made a rather daring choice. They decided to be thoroughly intoxicated throughout the entire scene. It's often said that alcohol provides liquid courage, and in this case, it seemed to do the trick. O'Toole chuckles when people inquire about that scene because, truth be told, he doesn't remember it at all. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor, renowned for her captivating beauty and exceptional acting prowess, confronted her own personal battles, including struggles with alcoholism and addiction to painkillers. In 1983, she displayed immense courage by taking a groundbreaking step. She became the first celebrity to seek treatment at the Betty Ford Center. The center, established by Betty Ford, the wife of U.S. President Gerald Ford, was designed to provide support and treatment to individuals grappling with addiction. Betty Ford herself had triumphed over similar challenges, making her an empathetic ally to those in need. Taylor's decision to confront her addiction sent ripples through society, offering solace and guidance to countless individuals silently waging their own battles with addiction. Elizabeth Taylor's willingness to candidly discuss her journey to recovery played a pivotal role in erasing the stigma associated with residential addiction treatment. Her actions kindled a flame of hope for millions of Americans seeking a path to recovery. Unburdened from the chains of addiction, Taylor embarked on a new mission beyond the realms of acting. She evolved into a steadfast advocate for AIDS awareness, prevention, and research. Her advocacy and philanthropic endeavors in the fight against AIDS demonstrated her unwavering commitment to bringing about positive change in the world. It showcased the incredible power of personal transformation and resilience. Elizabeth Taylor's legacy stretches far beyond her cinematic accomplishments, leaving an enduring imprint on the entertainment industry and the landscape of humanitarianism. Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton's Hollywood journey is a heartbreaking story of rapid ascent and tragic downfall. Arriving in the city as an ambitious 20-year-old aspiring actress and model, she achieved stardom at a remarkable pace, but spiraled into a self-destructive whirlwind of alcohol and drugs, which ultimately claimed her life before her 40th birthday. In the late 1940s, as Payton entered Hollywood, the film industry was still in its golden age. She swiftly became part of the hedonistic scene that defined the era, characterized by wild parties, extravagant nightclubs, and the notorious casting couch. Barbara earned the title Queen of the Nightclubs from columnist Harrison Carroll, and her name was frequently linked with Hollywood luminaries like Howard Hughes, Bob Hope, and the infamous mobster Mickey Cohen. While she managed to secure roles in several prominent films, including Trapped, Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye, and Only the Valiant, her dedication to the party lifestyle gradually overshadowed her commitment to her career. Her life soon devolved into a series of self-destructive actions and turbulent relationships, most notably a tumultuous love triangle involving herself, Franchot Tone, and Tom Neal. As her personal life spiraled further out of control, Barbara Payton found herself reduced to a mere shadow of her former self. She resided in a Skid Row apartment and, according to reports, engaged in solicitation to support her bar-hopping habits. In her memoir, I Am Not Ashamed, she candidly recounted her extraordinary ascent and the devastating plummet that followed. Her memoir painted a vivid picture of the heights she had once reached and the depths of her eventual decline. Tragically, Barbara Payton's life was cut short at the age of 39 due to complications arising from alcohol-induced heart and kidney disease, marking the end of a tumultuous journey through Hollywood's glitzy but perilous landscape. Leonard Nimoy. A single drink led to another, setting in motion a dangerous spiral into the depths of addiction, a force that even Mr. Spock's legendary self-control couldn't resist. In a cosmic whirlpool of his own making, Leonard Nimoy, best known for his iconic role as Mr. Spock in Star Trek, found himself ensnared in the grip of alcoholism during his time on the show. Nimoy would later reveal that he turned to alcohol as a means of coping with the arduous and demanding days on the Star Trek set. William Shatner, his co-star in the series, recounted that Nimoy sought solace in drinking, attempting to numb the immense pressures and frequent disappointments that often accompany stardom. However, Leonard Nimoy eventually recognized the destructive force alcohol had become in his life. Following the conclusion of the Star Trek filming, he took a brave step forward, entering rehabilitation to confront his alcohol addiction. He successfully conquered this particular battle, but his life was tragically claimed by another habit he couldn't break: smoking. Nimoy passed away at the age of 83 due to complications related to his smoking habit. Nimoy's journey serves as a poignant reminder of the immense challenges that many individuals face when confronted with the pressures of fame and the allure of addiction. His resilience in acknowledging and ultimately overcoming his struggles with alcohol addiction stands as a testament to his inner strength and unwavering determination. Robert Shaw. The filming of Jaws in 1975 was famously challenging, replete with its own set of difficulties, including encounters with actual sharks, turbulent waters, and occasional tensions among the cast and crew. One distinct aspect of the production was Robert Shaw's penchant for scotch, which he would consume during the long and demanding filming days. This predilection occasionally led to clashes between him and his co-star Richard Dreyfuss. Shaw was known to be under the influence for a significant portion of the filming, except for a particular scene where his character was meant to be portrayed as inebriated. Richard Dreyfuss later disclosed that he had an amicable relationship with Shaw when he was sober, but found him rather challenging to work with when he was under the influence. On one occasion, Dreyfuss even took a glass of alcohol from Shaw's hand and disposed of it in the ocean, addressing the issue in a unique manner. Cary Grant. Cary Grant battled alcoholism in the 1950s and embarked on a unique path to find treatment for his addiction. He chose to explore a relatively new approach at the time, using LSD, under the guidance of his doctor. Surprisingly, Grant discovered that he found the experiences he had while taking LSD enjoyable and even introduced some of his friends to it. Judy Balaban, the daughter of Paramount's president, once quipped, "I figured if it was good enough for Cary Grant, it was good enough for me." Grant is estimated to have undergone LSD therapy approximately 100 times during his treatment. Astonishingly, this unconventional approach had a profound impact on his outlook on life, leading to a happier and healthier existence. He went on to live contentedly until his passing at the age of 82. William Claude Fields. At some point in life, we make the decision to live a little, and for William Claude Fields, that moment marked a turning point in his life. Fields was known for his unwavering discipline when it came to alcohol. "I have never imbibed while sleeping, and I drink nothing stronger than gin before breakfast." Born above a bar in the era before Prohibition, Fields had amassed a vast collection of whiskey and gin bottles in his attic when the Prohibition era began. Even after Prohibition's repeal, he continued to maintain a substantial reserve of emergency alcohol at his home. He humorously justified this by remarking to Harpo Marx, "You can never be sure that Prohibition won't be back, my boy." One of the enduring anecdotes involving Fields and alcohol is that he would carry a vacuum flask filled with gin martinis on set, playfully referring to it as his lemonade. On one occasion, however, a mischievous individual swapped the contents of his flask with actual lemonade, leading to Fields' irate exclamation, "Who put lemonade in my lemonade?" Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was far from what anyone would consider a fun drunk. His behavior when under the influence painted a picture of a volatile and sometimes violent individual. Despite being a two-time Oscar winner and receiving a total of 9 nominations, Tracy's personal life was deeply marred by his tumultuous relationship with alcohol. Tracy frequently found himself entangled in barroom brawls, often ending up in police custody. There's an unsettling incident where he woke up in a padded cell in a Chicago asylum. His fear of flying compelled him to opt for train travel, where he would pack his suitcase with bottles and engage in excessive drinking while traversing the country. Even though Tracy did experience periods of sobriety, once he started drinking, he found it exceptionally challenging to stop. His drinking sprees sometimes included isolating himself in hotel rooms for weeks, where he would spend a considerable amount of time in the bathtub, neglecting even basic needs like using the toilet. His excessive drinking became a major concern, and Fox Studios once gave him an ultimatum: either quit drinking or lose his job. Tracy responded by leaving the office, heading to a nearby bar, getting excessively intoxicated, and returning to the office to vent his disapproval in a destructive manner. Following this, MGM signed Tracy, fully aware of his drinking issues. The studio even maintained a dedicated team, known as the Tracy Squad, whose sole purpose was to manage and assist the actor during his depressive and alcoholic episodes. Bars within a 25-mile radius were provided with their contact information. When called upon, this team would arrive with an ambulance, a doctor, and several security personnel to discreetly escort Tracy away for a period of sobering up away from the public eye. Richard Burton. To say that someone is consistently drunk is, of course, an exaggeration, but Richard Burton came remarkably close to personifying this notion. Burton's relationship with alcohol began at the astonishingly young age of 12 and continued unabated throughout his life, despite doctors. Burton is most renowned for his compelling Shakespearean performances on both stage and screen, his collaborations with Peter O'Toole, and his roles in iconic films such as Cleopatra and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, in which he starred alongside his on-again, off-again wife, Elizabeth Taylor. During their time together, Richard's daily routine revolved around alcohol consumption. He would commence his drinking marathon as early as 7 a.m., continuing throughout the day until he succumbed to unconsciousness, only to repeat the cycle. His typical routine involved starting with a case of beer in the morning, which he would diligently work through. Once that was depleted, he would transition to hard liqueur. In contrast, Elizabeth Taylor, his legendary spousey, was relatively moderate in her drinking habits, typically not starting until 10 a.m. In the filming of The Night of the Iguana in 1964, Burton insisted on having a private bar, both at the top and bottom of the staircase leading to the set. In 1984, Richard Burton's life came to an abrupt end due to a cerebral hemorrhage. By this point, his kidneys had swollen to abnormal proportions, and his spine was encrusted from top to bottom with crystallized alcohol. Joan Crawford, Joan Crawford's marriage to the CEO of PepsiCo not only connected her with one of the corporate giants, but also introduced an intriguing chapter in her life. Being a highly acclaimed actress, her husband saw a clever business opportunity and appointed her as the official ambassador for Pepsi. In this newfound role, Joan embarked on a global tour, representing the Pepsi brand around the world. What's fascinating, however, are her personal preferences during these tours. At each destination, her beverage demands included 2/5 of Smirnoff, 1/5 of Old Forester bourbon, 1/5 of Scotch, 1/5 of Beefeater gin, 2 bottles of champagne, and, of course, a case of Pepsi. It's quite amusing that Joan's choice of refreshment for her gatherings was Pepsi, conspicuously avoiding any mention of its rival, Coca-Cola, in her party plans. Joan Crawford's unique blend of glamour, stardom, and personal choices certainly added a touch of intrigue to her role as the Pepsi ambassador. Richard Harris, another celebrated member of the Oliver Reed Circle. Richard Harris was not just an actor, but also a heavy drinker, akin to his boisterous contemporaries. Harris, hailing from Ireland, displayed an inclination for alcohol from a young age. As a teenager, he found himself in a predicament after crashing his father's delivery truck into a low bridge, the result of inebriation. The incident was so remarkable that he managed to lift the bridge off its supports and wedge the truck underneath. When questioned by the police, Harris humorously claimed that he was delivering this bridge to Limerick. His journey into acting took him to the London stage and later to Hollywood, where he achieved fame and wealth. With the financial means to indulge his desires, Harris embraced a hedonistic lifestyle marked by promiscuity and heavy drinking. He was rumored to consume as much as 2.5 bottles of vodka daily and became a frequent guest at the London drunk tank. During his drinking days, Harris had a preferred order at the bar, consisting of 6 double vodkas, which the bartenders would routinely prepare for him without requiring any request. Harris's alcohol-fueled escapades often led to bizarre encounters with the authorities. On one occasion, a policeman discovered him lying in the middle of the street. When asked about his actions, Harris responded that he felt like the world was spinning. When queried about how lying in the street would help, his response was, "I'm waiting for my house to go by." Despite his public battles with alcohol and the occasional dark moods that plagued him, Harris made efforts to shield his children from the worst of it and create joyful experiences when he was with them. His son Jared recounted one such adventurous episode. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum was no typical pretty boy leading man. He exuded a dark, brooding energy that was often accompanied by chaos, fueled by his alcohol consumption. Mitchum became notorious for his off-screen exploits and even found himself in jail due to a police sting targeting Hollywood stars who indulged too much. Mitchum described working with Frank Sinatra, Broderick Crawford, and Lee Marvin in Not as a Stranger as more of a brewing team than a cast. The drinking started in the morning and continued into wild parties at night. These gatherings included debauchery like trashing hotel rooms, forcing Crawford to eat Sinatra's wig, and even an incident where poor Broderick was thrown off a hotel balcony. Needless to say, their room deposits were not refunded. During the filming of His Kind of Woman, Mitchum had a scene in which he gets attacked by a gang of thugs. On the day of the shoot, Mitchum began hitting the bottle early, and somewhere along the line, he seemed to forget about the whole pretending aspect of acting. Mitchum, a formidable man and a brawler since his youth, started tossing around the unsuspecting stuntmen. Understandably, these employees who were just doing their jobs took offense, sparking a very real and not-so-pretend brawl that engulfed the entire set. However, such behavior was often brushed off as Mitchum being Mitchum, since his reputation had been well established by that point. During the filming of River of No Return, director Otto Preminger prohibited alcohol on the set, But when he caught an actor carrying a bottle of vodka toward the trailers, he started reprimanding the young man. The actor explained, "I'm just taking it to Mitchum," to which Preminger nonchalantly replied, "Oh, well, that's different," and let the actor proceed with the delivery. Frank Sinatra. The iconic crooner, Frank Sinatra, was often characterized as a functioning alcoholic, a man renowned for his fondness for whiskey, especially Jack Daniels. He had a signature drink, a straightforward concoction of 4 ice cubes, 2 fingers of Jack Daniels, and a dash of water, traditionally served in a rocks glass. Rumor had it that he consumed an entire bottle of Jack Daniels daily, much to the shock of his doctor. His life unfolded under the harsh glare of the public eye, and he seemed to epitomize the phrase, "The best is yet to come." However, this was not always the case, as alcohol had the capacity to turn him into a belligerent and sometimes confrontational figure. When under the influence, he occasionally found himself in heated disputes with journalists or fellow actors, making it necessary to approach him with caution. One of his wives once disclosed that she would lock herself in their room when she saw him drink gin, as it had a tendency to bring out his mean streak. Sinatra belonged to an exclusive circle, which included his close friends and other Hollywood luminaries, humorously christened the American Olympic Drinking Team. Despite his tumultuous relationship with alcohol, Sinatra left an enduring legacy in the realm of entertainment. When he passed away in 1998 at the age of 82, he was laid to rest with a bottle of Jack Daniels in his casket, a fitting symbol of his enduring connection with the spirit that had been both his companion and his adversary. Orson Wells. A young Orson, merely 15 years old, stood at the crossroads of life. With his family's wealth in ruins and a bitter taste of alcoholism haunting his past. It all began with his father, a notorious drunkard whose reckless behavior had dissipated the family's fortune like leaves scattered by the wind. So, what did this budding genius do? He took the path many teenagers might choose. He distanced himself from his family, hoping his absence would serve as the wake-up call his father needed. Little did he realize that their paths would never converge again. Trapped in the throes of alcoholism, his father met his end without the opportunity for reconciliation. The guilt that gripped young Orson was profound, and ironically, it laid the foundation for his own battle with the bottle. While working in Rome on black magic, Wells played a role in popularizing a previously little-known cocktail called the Negroni, when he sent a message to a stateside newspaper praising its virtues. "The bitters are good for your liver, the gin is bad for it. They balance each other out." Despite Wells's unconventional views on human physiology, this endorsement introduced many Americans to the rust-colored gin drink, causing sales to surge in bars across the country. As Wells's indulgences grew, so did his physical size. The once svelte Wells expanded to nearly 400 pounds, thanks in no small part to his nightly meal ritual, 2 rare steaks and a pint of scotch. His on-set behavior became increasingly erratic, and he was known to imbibe between takes. Later in his life, possibly due to his role in boosting the Negroni's popularity, Wells became the spokesperson for several alcohol companies. Clara Bow. Distinguishing fact from fiction in the stories surrounding classic Hollywood stars can be quite a challenge. Many tales are a blend of exaggeration, studio-created narratives, mythologization by enthusiastic fans or the stars themselves, and sometimes outright falsehoods perpetuated by detractors. Clara Bow, in particular, was a prime target for false stories and unwarranted scandals. She was the subject of a wholly fabricated article published in the Coastal Times that accused her of a multitude of indecencies. Additionally, Kenneth Anger's infamous book, Hollywood Babylon, perpetuated scandalous tales about her, including the untrue claim that Bow regularly engaged with the entire USC football team. However, amidst these sensational stories, there were elements of truth that contributed to their believability. The original It Girl Clara Bow, indeed, lived a life that was unconventional for her time. She helped shape the modern flapper image, which was associated with a carefree and indulgent lifestyle. Bow frequented bars, had relationships with various men, including some who were married, and unapologetically displayed her free-spirited nature on screen. One credible story about Bow's behavior involves an incident at a party thrown by Paramount President B.P. Schulberg, celebrating a recently appointed judge. Bow arrived at the event already inebriated, and her actions included aggressively French, kissing the judge in front of his wife and dancing with him. She was eventually escorted out of the party by studio personnel. Separating the fact from the fiction in Clara Bow's life can be a complex task, but it's clear that she lived a life that defied the conventions of her era and contributed to her enduring legacy as a Hollywood icon. Michael Landon. Michael Landon, famous for his iconic roles in television series like Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, embodied the clean-cut, wholesome television persona. However, behind the scenes, he battled addiction to alcohol and Valium, casting a shadow over his otherwise pristine image. While some of his co-stars were aware of his drinking habits, they had no inkling of the extent of his alcohol consumption on set. Landon would discreetly mix whiskey into his coffee and add vodka to soft drinks. After a day of filming, he and his colleagues would adjourn to a bar to continue their drinking. Melis Gilbert, who portrayed Landon's on-screen daughter in Little House, disclosed that as a child she was unaware of her TV father sipping vodka from his coffee mug. However, she humorously remarked that her subconscious attraction to men who smelled like alcohol might have been influenced by Landon's behavior. In addition to his alcohol and painkiller use, Landon was a heavy smoker, consuming 4 packs of unfiltered cigarettes daily. This excessive smoking likely contributed to the development of pancreatic cancer, which tragically claimed his life at the age of 54. Landon's story serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating impact of alcohol addiction, even on individuals who appear to have it all. Fame may exacerbate the normalization of excessive drinking. In conclusion, for anyone struggling with alcohol dependence, it is crucial to seek help, confide in someone, and take one day at a time. This list only scratches the surface of the many celebrities who have publicly battled alcohol addiction. Some found the help they needed to achieve sobriety, while others sadly succumbed to their struggles. If you know of any notable celebrities who have famously wrestled with addiction, please share their stories in the comments below. There are undoubtedly more stories to be told, such as Craig T. Nelson's candid admission about his performance in Poltergeist, where he barely remembers filming the movie and can sense his absence when watching clips of himself. Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Radcliffe, the star of the Harry Potter film series, openly admitted to resorting to alcohol as a means to cope with the overwhelming status of instant celebrity. While he thoroughly enjoyed his work, the actor found himself distancing from the outside world to evade the relentless public scrutiny and constant attention. Radcliffe recognized his personality as inherently inclined toward addictive behaviors, and he credited his close friends for helping him develop healthier coping mechanisms. In a 2012 interview, Radcliffe candidly revealed that he came to the realization that his drinking habits were unhealthy and damaging to his body and social life. He acknowledged that his alcohol consumption had led him to isolate himself from social interactions. Although he acknowledged the difficulties of maintaining sobriety, he emphasized the positive impact of his decision to stop drinking, stating, "I had to stop myself, and stopping has shown me a world of happiness that I didn't think was possible." Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher, renowned for her iconic role as Princess Leia in Star Wars, made significant contributions to raising awareness about drug and alcohol addiction by candidly sharing her personal battles with these substances and her journey to recovery. In 2008, Fisher authored a book titled Wishful Drinking, which delved into her struggles with alcohol. Within the pages of the book, she recounted how she had employed alcohol as a coping mechanism and how her drinking had exacerbated the deep-rooted issues she faced. Fisher also disclosed her 45-year-long battle with bipolar disorder and drug addiction, shedding light on her misuse of opioids as a means to self-medicate her manic episodes. Although Fisher passed away in 2016, her legacy endures as an inspiration to many. By openly discussing her addiction experiences, she helped dispel the stigma associated with these issues, offering a glimmer of hope to others who may be grappling with similar challenges. Dennis Price. This British actor, hailing from an aristocratic background and possessing both good looks and charm, appeared destined for success. He became a matinee idol on the stage and achieved significant acclaim with the 1949 classic comedy Kind Hearts and Coronets, alongside contemporaries like Alec Guinness and James Mason. It seemed like international recognition was on the horizon for them. However, his life took a troubling turn. Fueled by the distress of a failing marriage, concealed homosexuality, and various undisclosed factors, this actor's life began to unravel. In 1954, he attempted suicide by placing his head in the oven of his apartment while dressed in his finest suit. Fortunately, a cleaning woman intervened in the nick of time, preventing the tragic outcome. Nonetheless, this marked the beginning of a slower, self-destructive path, mainly driven by alcohol. Despite starring in popular British comedies and military dramas, his colleagues noted that he would start his day with a crate of Guinness and finish it with ample scotch. His associates reported that he was frequently inebriated. He would arrive at the studio with a shopping bag full of alcohol and even stumbled onto the stage during a play's first act, performing the final one in a drunken state. Andre the Giant. Known to many as the eighth wonder of the world, this formidable French wrestler stood at almost 7.5 feet tall and weighed around 500 pounds. However, it's his iconic role as Fezzik in the beloved family classic The Princess Bride that etched his name into the hearts of fans worldwide. Alongside this 1987 film, he graced the screens in various productions like Trading Mom, Mickey Amp Maude, Conan the Destroyer, and numerous television shows. But it's Andre the Giant's legendary alcohol consumption that lands him on our list. He imbibed around 7,000 daily calories of alcohol, setting the stage for excessive drinking that became a hallmark of his lifestyle. During one extraordinary 6-hour binge, he consumed 119 standard bottles of beer before eventually collapsing in the hotel corridor where he stayed. His drinking companions simply covered him with a tarp. In another instance, a bar owner in Kansas City informed Andre that he could stay as long as he kept drinking. Unfazed, he remained at the bar until 5 a.m., downing approximately 40 vodka and tonics. Despite being one of the highest-paid wrestlers of his era, a substantial portion of his income was squandered on beer and hard liquor. While filming The Princess Bride, his bar tab amassed over $40,000. While generally regarded as a gentle giant by his friends, alcohol had a transformative effect on him. Under the influence, Andre displayed incredible feats of strength, like flipping over a small car with several occupants who had provoked him in a bar. On another occasion, he and fellow wrestler Dusty Rhodes commandeered a pair of horse-drawn carriages and ventured through the streets of Manhattan. Despite his ongoing struggle with acromegaly, a condition that significantly contributed to his decline, his unhealthy appetite for alcohol was one of the main elements of his detrimental lifestyle. This excessive drinking, combined with his condition, experts believe, played a pivotal role in the development of diabetes and his untimely demise from heart failure at the age of 46. Thank you for being a part of Hollywood Unveiled, where we pull back the curtains to unveil the untold stories of our favorite stars. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you never miss out on the fascinating tales from the world of entertainment. Stay tuned for more.